In this video, I test and compare different types of sandpaper to help you find the best option for your woodworking projects. Whether you're a beginner or experienced woodworker, choosing the right sandpaper can save you time, money, and frustration. I evaluate each sandpaper based on cutting ability, durability, cost, and finish quality to reveal which delivers the best value. If you're looking to improve your sanding results and make smarter tool choices in your workshop, this video is a must-watch. I'll test standard sandpaper like Mirka Gold and Amazon Budget SATC brand, as well as some more advanced options like 3M. In previous tests on YouTube, 3M performed very well, but shared concerns about sanding scratches and durability. I also tested this HexNet 3M paper a couple years ago and hated it. Previous tests claimed 3M removes so much more material, it's cheaper per gram of wood sanded than much cheaper sandpaper options. Before you or I take out a second mortgage for 3M sandpaper, I wanted to test it out for myself. Starting with the Mirka, this is the Gold 8-hole sandpaper. I've had it for a while and I'm very comfortable using it. It gets the job done, lasts a while, and has a quality finish, but I'm running out, and at about 47 cents per sheet, I think there are better options. I test on a strip of red oak plywood, sanding for 3 minutes, and check thickness and the weight in grams of material removed. This will all be using 120 grit sandpaper. I will also test how dust free they are by using this mat underneath for visual comparison. The Mirka is making progress, getting through the veneer at around 1 minute. After the full 3 minutes, it has removed 10 grams of material. The dust collection doesn't look great. I'll give it a C as a starting point for comparison. The paper shows some clogging or degradation. I'll also use the same 120 grit to sand some soft mahogany to test for sanding marks and quality later. Next up, this SATC brand from Amazon. It came in an unmarked box when I purchased it. It's very cheap, coming in an assorted box with 150 pieces at around 13 cents per sheet. Starting the test, it just seems slower, not really making it through the veneer at 1 minute. And after 3 minutes, the progress is pretty poor, only removing 5 grams. The dust collection doesn't look bad, but considering it removed half as much as the Mirka, I'm going B. The paper looks slightly degraded, but pretty good. Now let's go to the most expensive 3M, the Cubitron. This one was the first Taylor Toolworks test, beating all the competition including Festool, but Lincoln Street Woodworks cautioned about some deeper scratches in a quality comparison. 3M boasts about their precision-shaped grain for all the sandpapers I will test. It also has laser holes that should work with any sander, claiming that the dust travels through the hook and loop section. This stuff is really salty at $1.44 per sheet. Getting the testing started, I'm initially amazed how smooth the sandpaper is to use. It is very effortless, and it is cutting. Less than 30 seconds in and it is getting through the veneer and just continues to cut hard for the rest of the time. The board is smiling at the end. The dust collection isn't great, but with 18 grams of material removed and 3.8 millimeters off the top, wow. For dust removal, it gets a B-, just slightly better than the Mirka. I get the mahogany sanded as well, and this paper still looks brand new. I guess it should for $1.44 a sheet. Removing the paper, you can tell the dust is pulling through the hook and loop section like it's supposed to. Next is what I call the 3M HexNet. I just destroyed this paper testing it in the past on some sketchy projects sanding rough surfaces. My initial reaction is that this paper seems much thicker than what I had previously. The grit is also a darker purple than what I remember. This one, Jonathan Katz-Moses redo test, coming in at 55 cents per sheet, almost a third of the Cubitron, but others have shared concerns that when not sanding flat surfaces, it doesn't last, or the hook backing wears out, making it worthless. Let's test the cutting first. Starting the test is a handful. The sander really wants to move around, but it's cutting. Again, 1 minute and it's well past the veneer. I'm not applying much pressure, just letting the sander do the work, but this is much harder to hold on to than the Cubitron or any others. After 3 minutes, it removed 19 grams. Thickness was 3.2, but due to the bite, I didn't get it as even on the curve as the Cubitron. Sandpaper again looks good. For the dust rating, I will go with a B, slightly better than the Cubitron. Last, the 3M net. This is the cheapest 3M at 40 cents per sheet. This sheet does seem very flimsy, but I have liked using a similar Abranet mesh in the past. Again, being a mesh, there are concerns with durability. Getting started testing, this is smoother than the HexNet, but not as smooth as the Cubitron holding the sander. Again, making really good progress. At the end of 3 minutes, the mesh has removed 16 grams and 1.8 millimeters. I think I did well with an even surface, which might make the thickness removed seem slightly underwhelming. I am surprised the dust collection wasn't better, being all mesh. I have to give it a B-. Sandpaper looks good and great value considering that removal rate. Here's a table showing the removal and cost per gram of removal. For cost per gram of material removed, at the back is the Cubitron at 8 cents per gram. While it cuts well, it is very expensive. 3M Net is on the top, with the HexNet and Amazon SATC not far behind. Other tests like Taylor Toolworks ran for 25 minutes, where the Cubitron really shined. Sandpaper is cheap relative to your time. If you're sanding for an hour using Cubitron, it's still only around $3.50. The ease of sanding and how quickly it removed material was incredible. Next, Mirka at near 5 cents per gram, and then the top three are surprisingly close. Third, the HexNet at 2.9 cents per gram, Amazon at 2.6 cents per gram, and the 3M Net top with 2.5 cents per gram. So with all the mahogany sanded, I grabbed the mineral spirits to wipe it down and check for sanding marks and finish quality. Obviously, from the sanding test, you should see nothing is dustless. I have a Cyclone Fine extractor card I built hooked up, and it is great, but you still have to wear a mask to save on your lungs. For the quality, I kept sanding with steady pressure and full suction. If I was finished sanding worried about sanding marks on soft mahogany, I would do a light pass and probably bleed some vacuum as a precaution. Even without the precaution, I see no sanding marks or scratches here. Running my hand across them, Mirka is the worst, a C, maybe due to some of the clumping from the previous test. Amazon and 3M Net come in with Bs, both having some slight roughness. Cubitron gets an A-, but the HexNet gets an A. I was a little surprised by this, so I redid the HexNet and Cubitron on the same board. I confirmed my original score. The HexNet just had a slightly better finish. I know this is subjective and hard to see on camera. Feel free to test it out for yourself with a couple of these sandpaper options. Next, for durability, I take the same sandpaper and sand some radiuses and corners and some chamfers on the sides of ply using an older sanding pad. The HexNet immediately loses its grit. This is an aggressive test, but if you are sanding round surfaces often, this will happen. Cubitron surprised me by losing its grit in the center as well. I thought being paper backing it would have held up better. Next, the net disc. While it degraded, it still has grit in the center. I used a very old backing pad to avoid damaging a new one. This net disc did slip and fold slightly. I don't think this is much of a concern with a decent sanding pad. Mirka held up very well with almost no degradation, giving it an A. And then Amazon again showed some degradation, but it still has grit left, no tearing. It gets a B along with the 3M Net. The HexNet and Cubitron get Cs. So with the HexNet and mesh sandpapers, they also have concerns about wearing out pads. If you have an expensive sander, backing pads are a good idea. My sander is fairly affordable and replacement pads aren't too expensive. Feel free to give these sandpapers a shot with or without backing pads. They seem to stick well for me, and backing pads aren't a must for using mesh sandpaper in my opinion. So what's the best sandpaper considering everything and not just the removal rate? I have my own opinion, but I do a qualitative ranking based on all the scores first. I convert the ranks I gave them during the testing to scores and sum them up from all the categories. The HexNet finishes first with the best score in grams removed, dust capture, and quality. This was the winner for me before I did the ranking. You will have to hold on to the sandpaper, but with the finished quality and time saved, it will be worth it. The 3M Net is next. It's very good as well. I would recommend it for a beginner, and even at lower grits, it'll be easier to hold on to, incredible value, and cuts very quick. I wouldn't blame someone for spending money on Cubitron. It was so smooth to use. Using 3M sandpaper is like spending hundreds of dollars on a Rotex or forced rotation sander. It removes material so much better than other sandpapers or box store sandpaper. I also tested cutting on other grits with the Amazon and the HexNet. The Amazon cut 7 grams with 80 grit and 6 grams with 180 grit. But the 3M HexNet cut 17 grams with 180 grit and 25 grams with 80 grit. Wild. Others have complained that the hooks wear out on the HexNet and you don't get multiple uses out of it. It hasn't been an issue for me, but here's a tip. Don't sand through all the grits. Just make multiple passes at the higher grit and don't swap sandpaper. 3M is removing material so quick it's not really needed to sand through the grits on smaller projects. You can get the material removed and the quality of the higher grit. Now for buying advice. I'll leave Amazon links to all the options below. I'll also link prior videos I mentioned that were researched for my purchases and this video. Right now, Rockler has the HexNet at $25 a box. A great price. It's worth mentioning Taylor Toolworks and Jonathan Katz Moses sell it on their websites for slightly more, around $27 a box for the HexNet, and regular net on sale for $18. Considering all the work they put into their videos, maybe worth the extra couple of bucks to support them. At the time of making the video, Amazon had the HexNet 150 grit on sale for $21.90 a box and a 20% off coupon. The 220 grit was around the same price, but no coupon. All pricing mentioned was for 5-inch discs. 6-inch discs are obviously slightly more. If you want the Cubitron paper disc, Amazon sells an assortment with 80 to 220 grit in a 15 pack for $9.32, which is 62 cents per sheet, over half off. I don't see any limit restrictions, so go nuts and see what happens. Also, maybe just buy one pack to try. You might fall in love with how easy it sands. Thanks for watching. I hope this video was useful to you and will save you time and money. Consider liking and subscribing. It was definitely worth me screwing around in my shop for a few hours to use this knowledge to save money and, more importantly, time now and for the foreseeable future. It's not that I don't trust other YouTubers, but sometimes you have to see or test it for yourself to believe. If you want to see me make some basic cutting boards using the 3M net, check out this video next. Best of luck on your next projects.